how's that song go? Millions of peaches, peaches for me. Because let me tell you, it is the time for peaches.
Welcome to the Empty Nest Kitchen, where we're finding fun in the kitchen now that the kids have flown the coop. I'm Christine Van Bloem, a cooking teacher with over 25 years of experience, here to show you tips, tricks, and joy in your kitchen, all while trying something new. Let's get cooking.
We are in the thick of it, and there is nothing, and I mean nothing better than a perfectly ripe peach. We love them, whether you're driving down the highway and see that South Carolina peach butt, which is really a giant water tower, or you're going to Georgia. But let me tell you, here in the Mid-Atlantic, we have got some peaches too. And the whole idea now is, what are you going to do with nature's perfect specimen? Am I peach biased? Of course I am. Is it the last thing I want to eat in my life? Yes, of course it is, because there is nothing like that sweet stickiness that you get with a peach. But how are you going to use it? Because truthfully, I think there's nothing better than just a peach. My mom used to always slice the peaches, maybe peel the peaches. I don't even remember if she peeled them. Peel the peaches and put sugar on them. And talk about gilding the lily. Man, if a peach is ripe and in season, it doesn't need anything. It doesn't need a touch of sugar. But because my mom did it, I do it too. And what it does when you put sugar or salt even on something, that's called macerating. And I know you want to enunciate that, but macerating is when you basically are putting sugar or salt on something and it pulls the liquids out of what it is. So it could be if you're salting cucumbers, or in my case, putting a little bit of sugar on that perfect sliced peach. Now, can you do more with a peach than slice two of them and have them in a bowl for breakfast every morning? Of course you can. But part of my mantra for summer is this: don't screw it up, right? Because this is when food is at its very best. This is when we are going for the perfect bite that we don't have to do anything to. The less you mess with summer food, the better it is going to taste for you. And I stand by that with peaches. Now, peaches are nutritional powerhouses. They are loaded with vitamins. They are so good for you. Don't hesitate to eat a peach. But can you do something with them that's going to make them part of a complete meal? Sure. Let's think about salad, because that's your natural go-to, right? That is the natural first place to not screw it up too much. If you're making a salad, and one of my favorites is when I take different stone fruits, so I'll take peaches, ripe plums, cherries, and I'll pair them with something that's a little bitter. So I really like arugula because it is a crisp green that has a little bit of bitterness to counteract the sweet there. So if you go and you can look at all of my social media and scroll back, I have my favorite salad, which is simply a bed of arugula, juicy ripe peaches, those Rainier cherries, and I found some here locally last week, which I was shocked by, and some plums, because we're in plum season too. I take that, I put it on the arugula. I love to do maybe a little pickled red onion with it, or some minced shallot, something to balance all of those flavors, and of course, a ball of creamy, delicious burrata that I tear apart and spread over the salad. I keep it very simple. Good olive oil, good vinegar, either a champagne vinegar or a balsamic works nicely as well. And then good flaky Maldon salt. You know we always come back to the Maldon salt. I could eat this salad, no joke, every single day. It's so good. But how can you vary it? Well, peaches and tomatoes actually really like each other. They go very well together when you have a ripe, juicy tomato. So you can do a peach bruschetta with ripe, juicy tomatoes. And believe it or not, fresh basil. Oh, it's so good with peaches. It's so, so good. So don't be afraid to take a couple of peaches and chuck it in with that. But remember, when you've got all of that sweet, you do have to balance it out. So think you've got the sweet, you want some bitter, or you want some sour, like some tanginess, or you want some saltiness. And just like my mom would always put salt on her watermelon, you could, in a salad preparation, add a bit of that salt, right? It's going to make it really nice and really accent the freshness of what you're working with. Now, sometimes folks want to still cook, and I have had many clients say to me, I do not like meat and fruit together. And I always think that's so sad because there are some fruits that go so well with different meats. And if you're talking peaches, I think you really have two options here, and that is chicken and, of course, pork. And I know you're like, what? But think pork and apples and all of that good stuff. Pork is a natural player for fruit. So what could you do? Could you slice and saute peaches with some onion? Ooh, hello. Maybe we're going to take some chicken breasts that we're going to cutlet out. That means we're going to take that whole breast and we're going to cut it in half horizontally so you have two nice thin pieces. Now, some people like to then go and pound that thinner. Nobody has time for that. So since I've cut it that way, I'll saute that. We could use a little olive oil. We could use a little butter. We could use a little of both. Saute that, pull it out. Then I'm going to saute some onion. And I love the idea of red onion here. I think red onion works really well with the peaches. So I'm going to slice that maybe into little thin slices and saute in that butter in that same pan, right? That's so key because any of those little chicken bits or the fond that's left in the pan, that's going to give you so much good flavor. Then we're going to take those peaches and throw them in. And your peaches have to go in at the last minute, okay? The last 5 minutes maybe. But the longer they cook, of course, the more they're going to break down. Now, that's okay. If you want it like a peach sauce, a little longer cook on it. Maybe 10 minutes is going to cause those to break down. But if you want chunks or pieces, go ahead and throw it in the last couple of minutes of cooking. Now, after I've got my onions in there, right? How about some white wine? Oh, yeah. Or, and this is where you could go with a slightly sweeter wine, but avoid the chard, right? Because chard has all those woodsy notes, right? Woodsy, oaky sort of things. And when you are deglazing with a chard, you're going to intensify those flavors. When you're deglazing with any wine, you're going to intensify the flavor. So with this, we want a lighter vibe. We don't need those oak casks. A metal cask, a steel cask is fine. So Sauvignon Blanc is going to be delicious. Maybe a little bit of chicken broth there too, just to even it out. We let that simmer a bit, slide the chicken back in, slide those peaches in, and this is such a simple recipe. What if we threw in some fresh thyme? Instead of going with what we think, like the basil or something like that, I love fresh thyme. Strip it off the stems, give it a little mince. Oh my goodness. Salt, pepper, there you go. Make sure you serve that with some kind of green farro. You know I love farro. Some farro, some rice, some brown rice that you threw in the rice cooker. Easy breezy lemon squeezy. That is going to make such a delicious sauce. Oh my goodness, so good. And you could do the same thing if you wanted. You could grill a pork tenderloin. In fact, maybe I'll do this today. You can grill a pork tenderloin and make the sauce separately. Or let's say What if we did that pork tenderloin and we did it really simply, salt and pepper? A lot of people are shocked that you can just salt and pepper a nice piece of meat. And if you cook it correctly, if you cook it well, it's going to shine for you. But what if when we're doing this, we take our peaches, we cut them in half. Hopefully you've got Freestones. I have to tell you, I hate a clingstone peach. They make me crazy. And that's when the peach flesh clings to the seed inside. Oh my goodness, I hate it so much. I like when they just pop out nice and easy. I'm such a peach prima donna. But let's take those peaches, cut them in half, leave the skin on, and why don't we grill them, right? Everybody's tried grilled peaches. And let me tell you, dessert with a grilled peach, all you have to do, blow your friends away, all you have to do is lightly oil the cut side of the peach, because remember, any kind of fat is going to enhance your browning there. So just lightly, and then pop that sucker on the grill. I like a high heat because it's going to cook more quickly, right? And really what I'm going for are just those grill marks. That's it. That's it. We're not trying to cook that peach the whole way. We don't need to worry about that. We just want to get that flavor, that intensity from the grill. So pop those suckers on the grill, get those grill marks, pull them off. And then if you're feeling really fancy, you can put it in a bowl if you like, but you could also take just a little tiny slice off the bottom so that it sets flat on your plate. All right. Now, big scoop of vanilla ice cream or some whipped cream. If you're using whipped cream, though, you better whip it yourself, right? We're not using the can for this. And I love a can of whipped cream. But think of that. You can have it kind of dripping over the side. And I'll tell you, don't be afraid to garnish it with a light sprinkle of fresh thyme. Hey, what? Yeah. Or maybe a little bit of fresh basil. Oh, so good. So keep it simple. When it comes to peaches, there's no need to get crazy about it. Enjoy their lusciousness. Enjoy all of the vitamins they're bringing to you, all the good food. And if you just want to eat one over the sink with the juice rolling down to your elbows, well, that's a pretty good call too. So, as always, I am Chris Van Bloem from the Empty Nest Kitchen. I'm just absolutely thrilled to be with you this week, and I'll see you in the kitchen.